All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Baseball and Coffee. Afternoon coffee today. A little iced afternoon piece today for us. We'll be on for the next 2 hours. First hour and 15 will be the usual. And then we'll have Misiorowski come on and we'll chat with him for about, 20, 30 minutes. And we'll finish up after that. So if you're here and you're looking for Miz, he's going to come on in about an hour and 15 minutes. So plan accordingly. We will definitely take some questions from the chat. I have a few, obviously, in the Discord as well. Feel free to fire them in there. And yeah, we'll do our best. We'll do our best to get as much in there as much as we can. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, well, we had to adjust the schedule to accommodate our guests, which we will always do. So no problem. Just a little bit of a weird morning for me, not doing my show early as usual when I'm used to. So anyway, let's get in here. Let's do the usual. We'll get it going. We'll see what's what. There was some exciting games last night. I definitely want to check in on this Joshua Baez, who had 4 home runs in a AAA game yesterday, top prospect. So we'll watch that, but we'll watch some other stuff too. So appreciate everybody who's here with me on all the channels. We're on everything today. TikTok, my channel, MLB, everything. So should be a good crew here in the chat for the most part. All right. Here we go. Yankees are 2.5 up now on Tampa. They've won 3 in a row. They beat the snot out of the White Sox yesterday. Davis Martin finally kind of struggled there. Yankees had a pretty powerful attack. Rays are 2.5 back. Blue Jays win, Orioles lose, Red Sox lose all in their last games. We have this Blue Jays Orioles Red Sox series going on right now, which is fun, but it's too bad they're not a little further up the standings. Central, White Sox, Guardians are tied. They both lost their most recent game. Guardians open up in Milwaukee tonight for a fun series. Some small markets with a lot of winning going at it. Royals now in last in the Central. In the West, Mariners 1.5 up on the A's, 2.5 on the Rangers, 4.5 on the Astros. I consider all those teams in it because nobody's taken it, by the collar and, made it happen yet. Angels pulling up the rear. Don't see them getting back in it. NL East, Braves 7 up on the Phillies. The Phillies feel like they're creeping. They do. They do feel like they're creeping. 40 and 33 now. That's a good record. So they're creeping, I think. I know they still have a negative run differential, but something's different with them right now. Washington 8.5 back. Miami 11.5. Mets 15 back after losing the first 2 in Cincinnati. And I know they're playing right now, which is crazy. Brewers 4.5 games up on the Cardinals, who are both of these teams are playing very well. Cubbies 8 back. Pirates 9 back at an even 500. And Reds, who have won their last 2, are 10 back, although all those teams are going to factor into the wild card race easily. NL West, Dodgers 9 up on the Padres, 9.5 up on the Diamondbacks, who had been playing well, all of a sudden aren't again. And Giants and Rockies are pulling up the rear in that division. As for the Cups last night, here's our Major League Coffee Cup winners. Brian Reynolds in a 6-5 win over the A's had a 4-for-5 day with 2 home runs for the Pirates. Sal Stewart 2-for-3 with a home run and 4 RBIs versus the Mets, and Cody Clemens 2-for-4 with a 3-run homer, it looks like, or at least 3 RBIs and a homer versus Texas. Trout homered, Springer homered, so Spencer Jones homered. That's something we might want to look at. Where'd my WPAs go? That's weird. My WPAs are missing. I'm going to have to fix that. I don't know. Maybe something got lost in translation. All right, here are the pitchers. Logan Gilbert, 7 innings, 1 run, 10 Ks versus Baltimore. Luzardo for the Phillies, 7 innings, 9 Ks, 2 runs versus Miami. Rasmussen, 7 innings, 1 run versus the Dodgers in a 1-0 loss. Framber, 6 innings, no runs versus his old team, Houston. Detmers is a guy who's been on the upswing, 7 innings, no runs. Robleski had a shutout outing. Cease, even though he only went 5. Hunter Brown in his first outing back gave up 1 earning and 5 2/3. Garrett Cole pitched well, so a lot of pitchers pitched well. But here's what I was talking about, top 100 prospects right here. Joshua Baez, of the Memphis Redbirds, one of my old teams. 4 for 5, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. So we'll definitely check that out. 2 homer games from Eduardo Tate, who's the number 45 overall prospect, and Jet Williams, number 60 overall prospect. Those guys all had multi-homer games. And then both pitchers that appeared from the prospect list did not pitch very well. Liam Doyle for the Springfield Cardinals, 4 1/3, 4 runs, and Noah Schultz, who's down in AAA now at the White Sox, inning and 2/3 and gave up 2 in that. So what is this? This is scheduled. What are you talking about? Is something wrong? No, it looks like I'm in the right one. I'm confused about this comment. Now I'm rattled. So let me. No, I just changed the. What are you guys confused about? I don't know. Anyway, whatever's happening is there's 2 different streams. There's one on MLB, and there's one on my regular channel. Let me go to my YouTube studio. Yeah, that's weird. It's not. It says upcoming on here. It didn't grab the proper stream out of my software here. I don't know how to fix that. I don't think I can. I can't merge the streams, so I'm gonna have to copy and paste everything into that. That is frustrating. Damn it. Now we're gonna waste time. All right, but we got to get it right. All right, hold on. Let me copy everything in the description. Copy that, go back. Open this up. Control V. Save that. Go back. Go here. Control C. Go back. Go here. Control V. Save that. Fix the thumbnail. That goes into live streams. Save that. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Monetization off. All right, so that should have fixed it. Now I go back to channel content. I got to delete this other one. Super weird that this happened. I don't understand. Delete forever. Understand. Delete forever. All right. I think I was able to successfully sort of transfer it over. Sorry about that. All right. It doesn't matter. He's not coming on till 2:15 anyway, but we'll get there when we get there. So there's the coffee cups. Yeah, man, everything's wrong here. My NCAA tournament guys are gone. All I did was I switched. I put on my coffee shop world tour onto my site where I'll start listing all the shops I go to with a little blurb and a little map here, around the country. So, I mean, of course, I've been to a million coffee shops, but I just started doing this. So, anyway, apologize for that. All right, so what is going on right now in the land of baseball? And then we'll figure out what we want to watch from yesterday. There's a couple games live right now. Giants 3, Braves 2 in the second. Miami and Philly are scoreless in the first. Kansas City 1, Washington 0 in the first. And the Mets and the Reds are scoreless in the third. I mean, the other one's deleted, so this one's going. So it should be fine. Never cross the streams. Ghostbusters 101. Yeah, I fixed it now. I don't know why I did that. I did everything the way I normally do it, so it's kind of weird, but it doesn't matter now. All right, so as for yesterday's stuff, you tell me what pitcher you want to watch. We just looked at a whole bunch of guys in the coffee ratings. From the pitching side of things, Logan Gilbert, Jesus Luzardo, Rasmussen, You know, Cease, Hunter Brown, Detmers, Garrett Cole, those guys are all on the table. Batters wise, I think I'm going to watch Spencer Jones's first career home run right off the rip, and then we're going to maybe jump into somebody else. Miz doesn't come on until about 2:15, so just sit tight on that. If you're ever in Newport, please try Alta Coffee. Really good spot. I actually went to Moon Goat when I was out there recently. And it was really good. All right, so first we're going to watch Spencer Jones homer. And then we'll go into whatever pitcher the chat seems to want here, which I see some Rasmussen votes, Cease votes, Hunter Brown votes so far. All right, so here's Spencer. He's now 53 plate appearances in, so it's about time for a video, which I know I'm slacking on. Emerson should be done soon, Bazana, and Spencer Jones. Anyway, he's hitting 239, 340, 391, 731 OPS so far. It's a very weird Savant page. It's kind of what you would expect, except he's drawing more walks despite having, you know, below average amount of chase. So there's been some non-competitive at-bats to him. But you see the exit velo. That would probably be 100th percentile in the small sample, hard hit, bat speed. He does not get cheated, like, at all. Every time I watch him swing, his helmet seems to fall off. So let's watch his first career ding-dong. Yesterday, in support of Cole, who had a very good game, but he had a huge lead. I mean, just a massive lead in this game. And this was the first punchback by the Yankees. So Davis Martin and Spencer Jones. We have an unknown first pitch up and away. Ooh, a bunch of unknowns right now. Interesting. Little data issue here. That's a high cutter. So it's the up in the zone stuff that we think is going to be a problem. We think he's going to murder everything medium height and down. Here's another unknown. That's a sweeper, it looks like, and a take. And here's another one. So he gets himself to a 3-1 count, and now he's going to go pull side first home run in the Bronx. Ooh, that's a cutter. Little cutter, middle in. I'm surprised they went to that. I actually think you're probably safer to Spencer Jones just throwing a fastball, right? Isn't this? So this has got to be a cutter, the way it looks like it leaks a little bit.
And it was just a seed out to center.
Yeah, I got that being a cutter, mistake cutter, middle in. Absolutely hammered into the second deck. Got to be like 108, 109. Of course, we don't have any data on him when we need it. But I don't know. He's been an interesting player to watch so far. He's obviously very athletic. I tend to not believe that he's just this one-trick pony. Now, there has been a lot of swing and miss. There's a level of he's going to have to learn how to control himself a little more, you know, and have a swing other than his all-out swing. But, I mean, shoot, there's a lot of damage to be had when this guy's at the plate. No doubt about it. And here's this weird stance he's developed where he kind of crouches and gets into the toe tap and then just tries to pivot with both feet planted. So all he does is he moves it, he plants it right here. That's a very Shohei-esque when he gets to this point. And then it's just trying to be from here to here. And it's a shame he doesn't have a better number. The Yankees just don't have enough good numbers to choose from at this point. But that's Spencer. And then on top of it, he drew 2 walks. And then he also struck out of curiosity. What did he strike out on? Fastball? Yeah, fastball up, which I would imagine would be the issue for him for the most part. Let's actually see if we can't grab his heat map stuff from the very early. I mean, this is so small sample, but curious to see. So here's the chart on fastballs. If you don't throw it right down the middle, he's not getting you. But we'll see how that evolves over time. He hasn't really seen a whole lot of pitches, but I was curious about this fastball chart versus righties. Yeah, right down the middle. Shocker. Not. Also, defensively, he's been about neutral so far. He's played a little bit of center field, like Grisham's hurt right now. Sprint speed's above average. So, I don't know. I'm hopeful that he could have more impact than just striking out, walking, and hitting homers. But you never know. 6'7", 240. It's a big guy. It's a big strike zone. It's a big swing. It's going to be a tough adjustment for sure. All right, let me hop in the chat here. When you only have a 1A swing, that's what I think. That's what I think the biggest thing is. I mean, at some point, maybe he'll figure out how to, I don't know, take a lesser swing. But I guess that's a big time skill thing, You know what I mean? Probably easier said than done. Pias missile to the upper deck. Jones Savant looks just like his scouting report. Big power, big whiff. Can't argue with you that. I thought it was 108 to 111. One of the two is what I saw. Yeah, I mean, it looked hard. I mean, basically a line drive into the second deck, which is hard to do. Reminds you a lot of Joey Gallo. So, I mean, time will tell. Time will tell. I actually like his swing better than Joey's. But I don't know. And Joey Gallo had a couple years where he was super effective. He was. One thing he definitely needs is a smaller helmet. It flies off every time he swings and misses. So, we call that the Chris Taylor heat map. Unfortunately, that's a lot of major leaguers. As good as they are, they like it right down the middle. Has there been an adjustment, or is he just getting better results in this small sample in the show? Yeah, I mean, Baseball Savant's calling BS on it so far, so take it with a grain of salt. But the big adjustment is his swing. He's been doing the same swing since spring training, but it's less than what he had going before. So that is that's one adjustment. He'll ride that until it doesn't work, and then he'll make another adjustment. But my guess is efficiency is where we'll see him creep for the next length of time. All right, so we have requests for Cease and Rasmussen. So those are going to be the first two we're going to watch from the pitching wise. So first we'll watch Rasmussen. It's a 1-0 game. He pitched against the Dodgers. He took the L, gave up a home run to Shohei, but he went 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He pitches good almost every time, this guy. He's incredibly consistent. Now has a .88 whip on the season. But, I mean, he's been unbelievable dominant now for 3 straight years. 283, 276, 259. Let's check out the game logs. I mean, he was hot coming into this start. He had a pair of 7-inning starts leading up to it. He had a 9 strikeout, 1 hit, no run outing versus the Marlins. And then he had a 7-inning, 2 hit, 1 walk, 13 strikeout outing, which we watched against the Sox. That leads him into Dodger Stadium last night. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts versus the Sox. Let's see how he did it. Player breakdown. 34 fastballs, 31 cutters, which we said he has a cutter and a slider. Sinker, 18. Changeup, 14. Curveball, 3. Sweeper, 2. Above average amount of whiff, I'd say, on 4-seam cutter and his changeup, which only threw a little bit. Not very good on first pitch strikes. So he did this even though he had to work from behind in the count quite often. So, all right. We'll check you out, Drew Rasmussen of the Tampa Bay Rays. And it's like, really, I've talked about the Rays a lot recently, and I feel like they're interesting, but mostly because they have like 6 players that are carrying their team. And Rasmussen's one of them. Rasmussen, McClanahan, Junior Caminero, Yandy Diaz, probably Nick Martinez right now, and Aranda. Those 6 basically carry the whole club, and they can't afford to lose any of them. So 2-0 right off the gate to Shohei. There's that cutter right down the middle, swing and miss. Sinker, very good pitch to hit there too. Wow, Shohei, 2 good pitches to hit in this first plate appearances. Misses one, fouls the other one off. So we'll watch all the pitches in the first inning, and then we'll see him get his outs. And he's going to end up punching him out with a cutter, which is really a slider for chase towards that back foot. 90 miles an hour. He's got that over-the-top release. His cutter definitely looks like cutter slider definitely looks like a fastball out of the hand. All right, here's second batter of the day, Andy Pages, who appeared in our Discord poll yesterday from Carl. The question was, who would you rather have? Andy Pages or Dalton Varsho was the question. I voted Pages, but that could be a little recency bias since he's having a really nice season. All right, he's going to get a hit here on a sinker down, little line drive up the middle towards left center. So falls behind both of the first 2 hitters of the game, and here's Freddie. Robo deserves some respect. I think that he does get respect. It's just like, it's crazy with the whole, lack of strikeout thing. Varsho can go get it. Yeah, he can. He can. So can Pages, though. I mean, Varsho's better in the field. But it's a good debate. It's a good debate. They both show their moments. All right, so I feel like the first 3 batters of this game actually were in decent situations versus Rasmussen. And 2 of them are going to get on. Freddie's going to get this hit as well. Ooh, this is a bad defensive play. Caminero a little bit lost out there, as is Varland. Neither can make the play. And it's going to be first and second, 1 out. And here is Mookie. First pitch, slider, down and away. I refuse to call it a cutter when it's below 4 vert. So another slider. Fouled off, good pitch to hit, but also a little awkwardly up and in. Now to the sweeper. Deadly combination here. Gets the swing and miss. And then he's going to go to the right-on-right changeup. Interesting. Trying to get his ground ball. Does get his ground ball. Right to Junior. Fires it across, and he is through the first inning. This was an interesting pitch call, huh? Mookie loves to pull. He saw 2 off-speed pitches, 3 off-speed pitches leading up to this. I wouldn't have recommended this pitch, but he uses it to get the ground ball. So he gets exactly what he wants out of it. But in a 1-2 count, I would have thought he would have been hunting whiff there more. I also thought timing-wise, if he leaves this ball up, this could have been a mistake, but he doesn't. He executes it really well at the bottom. He does get Mookie out in front, so they read it a lot better than me. And a chopper for the double play gets him through the first. All right, now let's start watching decision pitches here so we can cover a little bit more today. All right, second inning. Gets Muncy to reach for a changeup. Hits that surprisingly far, but Simpson makes that play, so 1 out in the second. Here's Tucker. This one is going to play like a cutter. See, this one's 9.1 vert, so that played like a cutter. That stayed up. Tuck droops it into left for a bloop hit. Another hit here coming from Ward on a slider. Little ground ball down the line. So he pitched around some stuff early here. He's going to have first and third, 1 out again. And here's Freeland. Can he get another double play? They go for the bunt. It goes right back to him. Oh, crazy play. Huh. Okay. Okay, so first and third. Where are the runners? Where are the fielders? Fielders are in pretty standard depth here. We got Junior Caminero in on the grass. We got shortstop back there. And then we're pulled in the hole. So we're playing pretty standard, holding on the runner, so we have to be ready to cover. If it goes right up the middle, you should get a double play, but they're also pinching off from the runner scoring if it goes to third. Okay, so that's the context here. Ball goes back to Rasmussen. He immediately turns to get a double play, but Taylor Walls, I believe, who that is too far in front of the bag. So then he has to reverse course and just gun it home, as now the runner goes home, and they end up getting the lead runner at the plate. So no double play, but no run score. That was kind of a really weird play, and that's why I think Tucker got a little confused. I mean, he's here trying to see what to do at this moment. See, here's Tuck. He's like, I don't know. So as the throw goes to second, he would run home because he's assuming they're trying to turn the double play. But since Walls is now caught in front of the bag here, he's like, screw it, I got to throw home. And they do, and they execute that and get the out. So I can't blame Tucker. I can't really blame anybody except for the really bad bunt by Freeland. This is just about as bad as you can do with the bunt. And if Walls was ready, he might have got the double play. Yeah, I think he might have got a double play. So anyway, really weird play. That gets 1 out. And then he's going to get out of the inning right here. Yeah, just how they drew it up. That was super weird. And then another ball up the middle, and that ball is grabbed. So a little bit of a weird first 2 innings, but no runs. All right, to the third, and it's Shohei. Second at-bat versus Shohei. Fastball. Going to get put in play, and he hits it pretty hard to second. 1 out there. Here is Pages. Going to get him with a fastball. Ray's got the Dodgers trying to play small ball. That was just like, he bunted that ball on the barrel. The exit velo was too high. Went right back to Rasmussen and didn't even have to move. Good instincts by Rasmussen to realize, hey, I might have time to get the double play. All right, so a really easy third inning as Freddie flies out. Goes through the top three in the order, super smooth in the third. Fourth inning, here's Mookie. He's going to punch him out with a slider away, gets the half swing. So there was a question here about Mookie. It's a tough case. Not really sure yet. There are some physical attributes that appear to be in decline. Bat speed, which was never really high to begin with, but less is worse. And, you know, overall foot speed as well. And it might be getting him to a point where he knows to do damage now. It's a non-negotiable. It has to be pull side now, which makes you cheat a little bit more, which makes you more vulnerable to other stuff. I know his expected numbers are telling the tale of a lot of misfortune, which is, I think, is a little bit more of the case this year from having watched Mookie. Nice change up here to Tucker as he's going to end the fourth inning on weak contact. But at the same time, there's no denying that something's a little bit different right now. Even though a lot of his chase and whiff and walk and strikeout numbers are all still elite, just when he's actually making contact, it's not adding up. All right, here's 96 above the zone to Ward. If I'm facing Ward, I'm throwing him fastballs up all day long from every at-bat I've watched so far. Mookie's underlying metrics are looking a bit better this year, I thought. They are. We looked at them, and I'll check them out here again in a minute. But they're still not great on the physical side. Who is this guy? Chucky Robinson. Chucky Robinson going with the no BGs, and he's going to get struck out with a backdoor sinker here. So I missed him the first time. Anyway, nice pitch there by Rasmussen, and we are on to the sixth inning. Here comes the Shohei home run. It's a first pitch cutter, but it's kind of a cutter slider hybrid. Man, I tell you, man, these pitches get hammered. I don't know. I don't know, man. I see more home runs on right-handed cutter sliders to lefties that are just kind of cement mixer, medium height, middle in, sometimes down in, than like really any other pitch type. It feels automatic if you make this mistake more than once or twice in a game, it's going to get hammered. And Shohei hammers that to center. What do you think the exit velocity on that was? I'm not looking. I'm going to guess 108. 106.9, so a little less than I thought. But anyway, this was the only run of the game. So congrats to Robleski, who pitched great on the other side. And they were able to win this pitcher's duel with the Dodgers. Here's Shohei's swing in slow motion. So remember, we just looked at Spencer Jones's swing. This is what I was talking about. He gets to this same point. I think the biggest difference is he doesn't have his hands out and back the same as Shohei. I'd like to see Spencer Jones adopt this a little more with his hands. Little separation from the body. Felt like Spencer was a little tighter and they weren't as pulled back. But it's the same idea. Just once you lay that toe down, you don't stride after that. You just kind of dig through it with two hands. So incredible stuff. Yeah, he did miss his spot. But I mean, my point every time I point it out is that people don't seem to have good enough command with a pitch with so much danger. You know, if you get up and in or middle in and off the plate in, cutters are fantastic. But I see a lot of mistakes there, and they seem like they get punished at a higher rate, at least in my opinion, than some of the other pitches. Could be wrong, but that's my gauge on it. Anyway, he gets right back on the horse, grounds out Pages. Now Freddie's going to get a hit on a fastball. Base hit up the middle. Yeah, Milkiest is on it. He knows exactly what I'm saying, and that's exactly what I mean. I just think your margin for error is a little less with that pitch than a lot of the others. Anyway, this is also an unfortunate. I mean, Mookie hits the snot out of this ball, and it's right at a fielder. So, you know, maybe you're not playing as well, but you're also not getting good luck. It's a double whammy. And we'll look at Mookie again in a second. Change up off the end of the bat. That's going to be it for the sixth inning. Seventh inning. Tucker, fastball down the middle, grounded to second. One out there. There's Ward at another high fastball. See, told you. And then he's going to end his outing with this changeup to Freeland. It's not a pitch he uses a lot, but it's also very effective when he does throw it. Nasty changeup. He sells it really well.
You've just got to make a decision.
Rasmussen's a stud.
Strikes him out on the changeup and finish.
You're agreeing with me 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's high risk, high reward. And I think when you throw it behind an account in zone, you start to tend towards the risk part. You know, the reward is looking for a swing and miss. And it's obviously you want to throw that for a ball and get the chase. All right, so that was Rasmussen. He's been great. He's been consistent. You know, we talked the last time we watched him about how you know, really he's got 2 pitches within this one pitch that says he threw 31 cutters, but those are cutters and sliders. He's able to manipulate them as needed. And I think guys who have the over the top arm slot, that tends to mean, at least in my opinion, with those types of arsenals, that the pitches tend to hold that fastball line a little longer because pitches are coming down anyway due to gravity. So you have the fastball slanting down. I talk about it's extreme with the Savage, but I talk about it with Savage. But it's the same with Rasmussen to a lesser degree. Everything's trending down-ish out of the hand, so you can't get any information, and they're all fast, and then they deviate late. So that's what you're seeing when he goes to that cutter slider and all the chase he gets out of the zone. All right, here's Mookie's Savant page from 2026. This is what I was talking about. There's still a lot of underlying metrics that are great here. The chase, the whiff, the K. He's playing good defense. So, like, there's a great player in here no matter what right now. And you see the expected batting average, 269. He's only hitting 201. That would indicate he's getting terribly unlucky. Although Baseball Savant famously doesn't have spray angles. So I do think people play him to pull a lot. And they probably get him out on a lot of balls that are expected hits, would be my guess. So maybe that number's a little inflated, the XBA. But anyway, you look at the bat speed. You know, he's now dipped under 70 miles an hour. And when we go back in time, we did this exercise recently. You know, as recently as 2023, he was 38th percentile bat speed. Last season, he had dropped all the way to 10th percentile. And this year, we don't know yet, but I assume it's pretty dang similar, right? 69.5. All right, it's about the same as the last 2 years, so there's really no reason then to worry about his bat speed, although it's not as high as it used to be. As for his sprint speed, he's now below average, so he's not going to get as many extra hits. You know, that's the thing about having the speed. You get a lot of garbage hits, but that's been in steady decline for a while. Interesting, it hasn't really killed him on defense. He's still really playing really good at short. But I don't know. There's a combination of bad luck and he's getting a little bit older in here. It's a little bit of both is my point. And, you know, he's always been dead pull, but a little bit, maybe hitting the ball with a little bit less authority. Hard hit, 37.2 percentile. This was last season. This was 24, his last really good year. Hard hit was still only 44th percentile, so I can't really kill him on that. 23 is the last time he was way up high on hard hit. So really, since 23, something's been going on physically, and he was able to mitigate it pretty well in 24, and then last year was disappointing, and this year he's been unlucky and disappointing. So it's a little bit of both right now. I don't know, kind of a weird thing. All right, let me get in the chat here. High whiff means the models love it. Most of the models, yeah, are going to favor whiff, of course, because whiff is the only thing that you know nothing's going to happen. You know, nothing bad can happen with the strikeout. Contact, obviously there's some element of risk there. As a pitcher, would you be pitching Mookie any differently than when he was in Boston? Still no, because still he wants to dominate the inside part of the plate and pull everything. So you got to pitch him away, away, away. Just seems like he hasn't been making them pay as much when they make the mistakes. Last year he lost 20 pounds of muscle at the beginning of the season. That's tough. See, this type of information could be the actual issue, right? Like he could actually just be weaker than before, and he hasn't been able to really recover that. That's a big percentage of his body weight. He's not a big dude to begin with. Do I think Mookie moving from center to short hurt his hitting? I don't think so, but I get why people say that. Get why people say that for sure. Do you think people aren't afraid to challenge him? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I mean, you know, anytime a hitter is not as hot, you're going to go at him a little bit more. Adam, how would you feel losing 10 to 15 pounds of muscle going to the first week of the season? So I did this before. I got too skinny going into my AA year. I play at like 240, and at that time I was like 220, 215, so I was way light. And it was bad, and I realized it was bad pretty quickly, so I started eating double lunches every day and just trying to put the weight back on. And of course, it wasn't good to like try to pound weight on as fast as I could, but I did get it up for the second half, back within range, and then I felt a lot better. But it's true. Every athlete has their own optimal playing weight. Some guys it's lighter than others. Some guys it's super heavier. Like right now in life, walking around, I'm 15, 20 pounds lighter than when I pitched because this is how I am naturally, but I needed to be bigger to pitch. So anyway, that's a big factor. I'm glad you guys brought that up. Thoughts on Aaron Ashby getting 10 wins? Crazy. He's our wins leader. He's got I mean, shit, we're not halfway. I mean, he's not going to get 20 wins. That would be insane. But pretty cool to have 10 out of the bullpen. That's wild. Well, I wonder what he can get to. You know, it's obviously very coincidental, but what can he get to? 16, 15, 16? Is that possible? If I'm Murph, I'm trying to make it happen. I'm putting him in a lot of tie games. You know? Did you watch the pitching matchup in Houston last night? No, but I'm thinking about it. But I'm definitely thinking about it. Yeah, this is what Jake, I agree with you here that he's already smaller. So, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw me a like. Did you gain weight for the WBC? I stayed at like 235, so I was like halfway between what I am now and what I was when I was really playing. So I lost some. I didn't feel like gaining all of it, but you know. Regarding aging, can you explain how certain pitchers are able to maintain velocity so well as they age? Chapman, DeGrom, or others just fall off? Is it delivery, discipline, or genetics? A lot of them have lost velocity. It's just relative amounts. You know, Jake's lost velocity. DeGrom, Chapman, he lost it, gains it, loses it, gains it. But he's such a hard worker, naturally mobile guy that I think his body stayed springier than some others. So it's a lot of factors here. You know, individual lifestyle, body type, what the workload's been. I mean, there's a million things that go into this. Different, like if you're in Coors Field, you're going to probably suffer more with the altitude. So a million answers for this, but pretty hard to fight Father Time. I felt really good through 36, and then at 37, I was like, feeling a little crusty. CC famously flailed when he lost his weight. Now he's super fit in retirement. Yes. This is a funny question. Absolutely not, the Beastly Champ. No chance. No chance. All right. Okay, so Dylan Cease was requested next. He pitched against the Sox. Him and Peyton Tolley locked up. This was a fun one. Tolley 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, got clipped twice. So maybe we'll watch the offensive part of it too. But Cease will lock in on for a minute. 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, 108 pitches. This is more Dylan Cease of old, where he bent but didn't break and didn't go deep. He tried to go with his approach, but I bet you towards the later innings he reverted back to a lot of four-seam slider. Did get 50% whiff on his slider last night. 38 heaters, 35 sliders, 12 curves, 10 sinkers, 10 changeups, 3 sweepers. Not a good amount of first pitch strikes. But it looks like he was able to hang in there. And he gave up no runs. So at the end of the day, even if you go 5 and dive, no runs, I mean, we can live with that most of the time. All right, Caesar. Here we go. We'll just watch him get his outs. Here is Masataka Yoshida, first batter of the game. 98 up in the zone. Jimenez, always under control, makes that play. And now a hit by Rafaela. 99 mile-an-hour fastball. Smacked out to right for a base hit. And that's going to bring up Abreu, who works an 8-pitch walk. A little bit of an overthrow there. 2 on, 1 out, and a 3-2 strikeout on 98-7 to Contreras. Gets this ball up just enough. And he's underneath that. Now here's a hit by Duran. Oh, it's going to go to the perfect spot. No way. I did not see this live. What a hit. First of all, he got absolutely blown up by this fastball. This fastball is in his kitchen. Look at that. Barrel gone, handle gone. He hit this, what, 38 miles an hour? And he's going to dink and dunk this right behind the mound. Cease tries to make the play, gets turned around, whiffs on it, and nobody can do anything. Holy cow. Let's watch it from all these angles we got here. Yeah. That was awesome. Oh, it's too bad we can't really see it from here. We'll just see him retreat back. Damn, what a crazy play. I wonder what the odds are of hitting a ball behind the pitcher but in front of second base. Probably about 0. All right, so now he's got bases loaded. He's going to have to pitch his way out of it. Durbin swings at the first pitch and gets out. Slider down and away. He's going to get that off the end. Here comes Miles Straw with the sliding catch to retire the side. So Durbin tried to be aggressive. Cease went right to his best pitch and threw a borderline pitch. This is a perfect 0-0 pitch. Runners in scoring position, big spot. Want to test the guy out in case he ambushes. He tries and he gets himself out. Hey, how you doing? 2:15, so about half an hour. No, about half an hour. All right, second inning strikeout on a slider to IKF. Nasty. But you see these at-bats, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches long. Almost everyone. This is a 6-pitch strikeout. So he's already thrown 14 pitches to strike out these first 2 guys of the second inning here. Another slider. This one's backdoor. Backdoor down. Love you. Okay. And here's a walk. So even in a good inning here in the second inning, he's going to throw way too many pitches, as that makes 19 pitches. And 25 pitches to face 4 batters in the second. 2 strikeouts and a walk and a ground out. Yoshida's now hit 2 balls of like face high for grounders. All right, so that's it for the second inning. Third inning, another 7-pitch at bat. Rafael is going to get his second hit off Cease. Ooh, smacks him down the line. So the Red Sox put some pressure on him. Crazy they didn't score any of these times. But I guess that's been Red Sox baseball this season. Rafael, a lead-off double. Now a strikeout of Abreu. Slider in the dirt. I wish I had a slider in the dirt.
You have a slider in the dirt.
My slider was to left. It didn't go in the dirt. Let's watch this whole at-bat to Contreras. 3-pitch strikeout. Oh, I thought it was maybe all heaters. It wasn't.
Love you.
Love you. Curveball strike.
You're a curveball strike.
You're a curveball strike. Fastball up away, fouled off, and then fastball way up around, up away. See you later, swing and miss. So he's punched out Contreras twice on heaters. That's the second out, and then the third out's going to be Duran again. Remember, he got way in on him the last time, gets way in on him this time. Wonder if he broke his bat there again. Anyway, good play by Ernie. And he digs through the third inning. Fourth inning. Caleb Durbin, sinker coming in the kitchen, misses over the middle, but he gets just a bit off the barrel. And Miles Straw, who's now robbed him twice of hits. Durbin, who's been swinging it better, got to be pissed about this. Robbed his blooper and then robbed his triples attempt. Look at Miles Straw. Dylan Cease feeling it. Yeah, didn't show that. All right. 1 out, and here's IKF.
1-2 on the way. Swinging butt.
Really good slider there. Kirky is on that. 2 outs there. And now here's another walk to Meyer. So they put a little pressure on him. He wasn't able to make it easy, but they also weren't able to come through either. A lot of sliders in the big moments. There's a slider hit to Wong, so they're able to put 2 on here in the fourth as well. And now Yoshida's going to get out. See if it's another high heater. It is. That's 3 times he's grounded out on face high heaters in this game. That is super weird. I wonder how many times in Cease's life he's gotten ground balls on pitches this high, and Yoshida did 3 of them in 1 game. How do you do that? That's amazing. All right, 5th inning. This is going to be his last inning. Called strike 3, looking to Rafaela, 4-seam down. A very confident tap. I think this ball's way in the zone, though. Let's see. I'm going to wait for the drama. Yeah, way in the zone. Strikeout. All right, 8-pitch walk. This one was called a strike and then overturned. Ooh, I bet you this is really close. All right, less than an inch away. So Abreu challenges, gets the walk. Now he's going to punch out Contreras for a 3rd time. So let's watch all 3 pitches here. Sinker in, chopped foul. Now to the sweeper. Called strike, although I bet you that was low. Yep, that was low. So that makes it 0-2. And then he's going to punch him with the slider in the dirt. So full ownage of Cease to Contreras in this game. 3 strikeouts, 2 of the 3-pitch variety. And you can see Wilson's not thrilled. And then he's going to finish his outing with Duran. Remember, he jammed him twice. This time he swings it hard. That's the best, probably the best swing of the game. And he lines it out to Miles Straw at 100.5. So he grinded through it. It wasn't as good as he's been, but he definitely grinded through it. Also possibly worth watching in this game is Louis Varland, if you guys have any interest in that. As he finally got clipped the other day by Goldschmidt, but he's been rolling. So anyway, here's Cease on the year. I think he's going to be in the Cy Young conversation, American League. I do. He's been very good. He's been very, very good. Miz will be here in about half an hour, guys. In about half an hour. What are you thinking about Logan Webb chance for a Cy Young if they can get him some wins? I don't think Logan Webb is anywhere near. I think he's got no shot in the National League this year, given Miz and Sanchez and Sale and Otani. Ooh, did I just click Jacob Webb? I meant Logan Webb. But Logan Webb got off to a slow start this year, no? Yeah, he's down to a 3.46. I mean, he's going to get the innings and all that, but I just think from the run prevention standpoint, he's way behind the others. He's probably given up 3 times as many runs as Christopher Sanchez right now. So that's going to be tough to cut into. All right, so we wanted to go backtrack a little bit and look at Varland because he punches the side in his outing. He went 6 changeups, 5 fastballs, 5 curves, 3 sliders. For my money, he's been the 2nd best reliever in baseball this year behind Mason Miller. Possibly even more value given his inning contribution. I mean, shit, 39 innings in 35 games, all high leverage with the 1 whip, already over 50 punchies. So he's on his way to the big-time 100 punch-out season out of the pen. And yeah, he punches the side in this game versus the Red Sox. Actually, he doesn't punch the side, but he comes in the 8th in a big spot. 2 on versus Gasper. So let's watch this outing.
Gasper, the batters, he takes a changeup for
Changeup ball.
too.
Knuckle curve strike. Here comes a changeup.
Meyer just took a walk.
That's a strike, man. You can really see the angle he's getting from that side on this camera. This really shows his HAA. And then there's a 4-seamer at a hundy up and away from Gasper. Man, Varland looks like he's got really big HAA. I didn't really notice that from the usual camera angles, but there's a lot of right to left going on in his approach. All right, here's his 9th inning. Yoshida's going to get a hit. Another grounder from Yoshida. This time it goes through, and then Sadon's going to get a hit. No, he doesn't get a hit. He flies out deep. Damn. Good swing there. And then here comes some strikeouts. All right, let's watch this strikeout of Abreu. Knuckle curve, chopped foul. Yeah, the National League Cy Young Award race is crazy this year. I mean, there's like 7 or 8 crazy options already. That guys who have to be noteworthy. This is a changeup strikeout. His changeup's been elite this year. All right, so he ends up walking Contreras. So Contreras narrowly avoids the sombrero, and then he's going to finish the game punching out Duran. So let's watch this at bat versus Duran. Knuckle curve ball. Here comes a changeup.
And a 1-0.
Chopped foul. Another changeup. Changeup down. Don't worry, I'll show you in a second. And then 100 up top. See you later, ball game over. This guy's fastball is electric. Look at this thing. Just a laser beam to the top of the zone. Blue Jays really robbed the Twins in this trade. Holy cow. This guy's been unbelievable for them. Not only last year in the playoffs, but this year. If they're going to dig back into the postseason, it's going to be from Louis Varland, big-time helper. Let's see his HAA real quick while we're here, and I'll explain that horizontal attack angle. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. How steep your pitch is from right to left on the screen. The angle, the horizontal angle at which the ball enters the zone. And we can see here, Louis Varland on HAA, 2.5 degrees. That's 95th percentile of right-handed pitchers. So he's the 21st level of right to left steepness entering the zone from the pitcher's perspective in baseball on his fastball. So that's what I was just noticing, and I didn't put that together before. I knew he had a lot of other stuff going for him, but I didn't realize that he had that steep of a HAA, and his changeup's even more, 9th percentile. So that makes sense. Like, he's got nasty stuff as it is, but he's also a weird angle. So anyway, I wanted to check up on that, but pretty nasty. He's been filth. He's been filth. All right, let's hop in the chat for a minute. Maybe we can watch one more guy before we get Jacob on here. I shouldn't call him Jacob. I don't even know him yet. Is HAA why guys shift around what side of the rubber they stand on? Yes, and it's also to create better tunneling for their pitches. Like, depending on what your arsenal is, where you stand on the rubber will give you a better shot of making everything look the same and then deviating. And that's very different for different guys, depending on the arsenal. Also, like, if you can't change the shape of your pitch and you still need it, like a fastball, and you're getting lit up, might as well move over and change the angle and see if that helps. The modeling can help with that. They have a lot of projected numbers based on where you're standing. So you throw all that in the mix. You throw all that. You throw all that in the mix. So we got Miz or Sanchez right now. I mean, right now I think Misiorowski flipped the race recently. I was just looking. I mean, I don't go off of Fangraphs, but they have a nice leaderboard. Just to at least look at the WAR situation from pitchers. And he is clear of Sanchez right now by Fangraphs WAR. But I don't even care about Fangraphs WAR as much as like overall raw numbers. So look, Sanchez has him beat right now by 12 innings. You see the difference here? 12 innings, 99 innings versus 87 innings. But Miz has got the style points with the strikeouts. Strikeout rate of over 13.5 Ks per 9. And I think he can run him down. I mean, obviously, Sanchez had the run where he gave up no runs. He had the 50-inning scoreless streak, basically. But Miz still has a lower ERA, which is hard to say. Much lower FIP. And I think he's flipped the race. I would vote for Miz right now. Obviously, if it was a 40-inning difference, I might feel differently, but I don't see the gap growing to that number. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't see the gap growing to that number, like 40 or something like that. All right, let me get back in the chat here. I got Miz, but it's neck and neck. And don't forget about Shohei, who's got a lower ERA than both of them. Don't forget about Sale either, who's been really good. So things can change, but those two are the leaders in the clubhouse right now. And this is probably true, but wins don't really get you the Cy Young anymore. So, you know. How does an ARB meeting go with Varland where the club using him in the highest leverage spots means he's getting fewer saves than he might as a true closer? Well, we should ask Dylan Betances about this or Josh Hader about this. Like, saves are the currency in arbitration for a relief pitcher. And if you don't have them, they're not going to pay you as much, and they're going to argue as such. So I do think if you can get like if you could get in the situation of like a Scoopal where you can argue the 5-year thing, or you can present it. The part of the issue is the arbitrators don't tell you why they conclude what they conclude. They just make a decision. But yeah, you want to get as many saves as possible, you know. And I think, of course, every team's going to try to get their labor for as cheap as possible. Someone in the Discord wanted to see Straw versus Tolley 3rd inning. All right, well, we still have that pulled up, so we can watch that. Tolley didn't have a great outing, so we're not really going to watch all of that. But here is a 14-pitch battle. All right, 14 pitches. Tolley and Straw. 4-seam up away. 4-seam coming again.
Past him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Imagine that. Losing over 100 last year. They are 38-32.
Yeah, wins. Unfortunately, wins just don't matter anymore. But I hear you.
I meant the start that they're on.
Jimenez with the lead off second.
Another foul ball. This is all going to be heaters, basically. Is this just a heater fest?
Looking for another K in the book, but this one is a really hard
foul ball.
Put away.
Boy, I'm surprised.
Here's the sinker. Hangs in on that one. I love watching Tolley's reactions. Check Tolley's reaction.
Out in front.
This dude cracks me up every time.
Another fastball.
All right, here's another one. Fouled off the chest protector. Another fastball. Here's another fastball. Fouled off again. All right, finally they try a curveball. Popped foul. Sinker coming now. This is like 8 or 9 foul balls in a row. All right, cutter ball. So that got him to 3-2. 2 more pitches here. Another foul ball. This is unbelievable. And then he's going to get out. So he gets him out. If you're going to throw 14 pitches to one batter, you would hope to get him out. But great job by Straw, kind of riding that out there. That was funny. What is Tolley's reaction here? He was like excited that he got him to hit it and play. Little mini fist pump when he put the ball in play. Anyway, that's pretty funny. All right. Sorry for the ice chewing. All right. Wow, 5-1 Mets now in the 5th. This is our live scoreboard right now. 5-1 Mets in the 5th. Royals 4, Nationals 0 in the 3rd. Marlins 6, Phillies 3 in the 2nd. So somebody's getting smacked around for the Phillies. And that's it right now. What happened in this Phillies game? 2nd inning. Marlins putting up some numbers. Andrew Painter, who's had a tough go lately. 2 innings, 6 earned already. 2 walks, 2 home runs. Stowers looks like a 3-run shot. And Casey with the solo shot. So, damn. All right. We got another 15 here until our guest comes on. Let me get back in the chat. Also a big fan of the mustache coming back in vogue for pitchers. What do you think of Davis Martin and his approach with a 6-pitch mix and doing them all pretty much equally? Is it to keep hitters guessing? Yeah, I mean, he's not elite like with his stuff, like any individual pitches, so he's going more kitchen sink approach, and he's been very good. I know he got beat pretty good last night by the Yanks, but overall, I mean, I think his approach has been sound. It's driven him to a very, very good start to the season. 3-3-1, even after the really bad outing yesterday. He was down on the 2s yesterday. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have like any pitch, I would say, that's flat out ridiculous on its own. So he has to kind of stick and move and pitch out there. Nothing wrong with that. Wonder what the Stuff Plus says about Davis Martin on Fangraphs. It's got him as a well below average stuff guy. So that's the reason why. Not one pitch above average here. 94, 85, 88, 94, 93, 87. So it's saying his best pitch is 6% below average. So, and overall he's like 9% below average and stuff. So, you know, that's very poor for a guy who's pitching as well as he's pitching. So it's more about the mix. They don't even like his location. So it's all about his mixture. And sure enough, 26%, 17%, 16%, 15%, 13%, 13%. He might be the only pitcher in the league with 6 pitches over 13%. So that's something that you should do if you don't have great stuff. You just got to mix it up a hell of a lot. Ooh, anyone watching AAA, that reminds me about we should watch Joshua Baez, who hit 4 home runs last night. So, yeah, we'll pull up the old research tool. Oh, we need to reset this whole thing. Pull up the old research tool from last night. Memphis Redbirds, 12. Nashville Sounds are the losing team. A lot of dingers in this game, but Joshua Baez hit 4 of them. Big prospect for the Cardinals. Oh, video unavailable. No. Why? Why is the video unavailable? I always get AAA video. Sometimes in the first inning it's down. See if I can get the other ones. Nope, video unavailable. Dang it. All right, we're not going to get his home runs, unfortunately. Damn, I was all excited. This guy had a heck of a day. This is what I was talking about from earlier. Look at that. 4 for 5, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs for the number 68 overall prospect. Pretty amazing. I mentioned it earlier, but did you ever have a season where you had a bunch of inning pitch in the regular season and the playoffs were harder for you? Yeah, I mean, pretty much every time I made it to the playoffs. And the further you get in the playoffs, too, and how much you warm up or how much you pitch. Like, I was totally out of gas in 21, the last game I pitched in the postseason. And I thought in 19 I probably pitched a little too much as well, headed into the postseason. But I felt good, so I can't make that as an excuse. But I definitely pitched a lot. And the stuff didn't feel maybe quite the same midway through September towards the end. So hard to say what the factors are, but it felt like one. Have you done your all-star ballot yet? No, I'm going to wait till like right before the deadline for the full amount of context, and then I'll vote probably live on the show. I believe Andrew Fisher should be the number 1 prospect in baseball. Well, he did just get moved up to AA, so excited to see how he does. And he's been very, very good. I don't know about number 1 in baseball, but he's definitely going to be moving up on the list very fast. I mean, shit, Jesus Mate is where he'll be meeting Mr. Andrew Fisher now in AA, so he's also a big-time prospect. I think he might be number 1 right now. No, I don't think they locked me out. Unless I need to re-log in. That's possible. Let me re-log in. Because that could be. Could be. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. Try this one more time. Yeah, it's still unavailable. Something was up with the video at the site, is what I think. So, nothing you can do about that. Did you see Lombard's injury last night in AAA? What happened? Did he get hurt? Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be putting your comments up anymore, mister. What happened to Mr. Lombard in the game last night? Anything? What team would that have been? Scranton Wilkes-Barre? He hit a double. This is Lombard's double. This is George Lombard's double right now. He looks good, man. He's got a good swing. They're not going to be able to keep him down very long. Like by next year, he's firmly in the picture for sure. All right, so it looks healthy enough there. See if he got a second at bat here. He walked. That was the second at bat. Third at bat. Injury delay. It might have happened on this steal. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Is that a thumb? What do we got on that? George Lombard Jr., he gets slid into here. It's either wrist or thumb, I think. What's the reporting on that? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But that's not great for Lombard, obviously. He'd like to keep rolling. So that's not what he wants to have happen at all. Damn. All right, well, we'll see how long that he's out for. That's not great. Obviously. All right, let's check in on the games live. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to watch too much more here. So we'll kick around a little bit, see what's going on live. Yeah, thumb. Look like thumb to me. Gyro says wrist. The Memphis video broadcast was down for the first 5 or 6 innings. Okay, so we can maybe get back in backdoor to the last couple at bats. Let's see. So we didn't get the first one, or I don't think the second one. Let's see the third one. Nope, third one's cooked. Fourth one. I mean, the guy hits 4 home runs, and then the video goes down. Yeah, here's the 4th home run. Man, you don't see 4 home runs there very often. Anywhere. That's way up on the berm out there. 4 for 5, 4 homers is crazy. He's got that, like, that look in the box. Like he wants to smash outside pitches to me. Damn, that's high. Hit that ball super high. They need to fix their scoreboard. That's the same scoreboard when I played there in 2010, 9, 10, 11. Come on, Redbirds. Yeah. The shots unheard around the world. I know. Too bad we don't have all the shots we want. That's for sure. All right. He does look scary, right? What did he say? What did he say? How about the Major League ball? Mitch sent me a thing yesterday that was interesting about the drag coefficient on the ball right now. Oh, this is another thing to discuss in here for a second on the live stream. Earlier today, somebody posted this, and this kind of blew my mind and got me thinking a little bit. James Wood has already faced, hold on. James Wood has already faced as many different pitchers as Ted Williams did in his entire career. And James Wood is in season 3. So is this a reality that back in the day, they just faced the same guys over and over and over again, and there was that little roster movement that guys accumulated that many at-bats off of one guy? Because to me, that's a huge factor when you want to talk about why hitting's harder now. Just the diversity of matchups, right? I think that's wild. That's a wild stat to me. Here's another one that was in the Discord today, which I thought was good. And now because we have that new swing metrics. Mike Petriello noted that his new Dylan Cease's new changeup The movement's not impressive, but you can see that the late swing percentage is way up. So it is affecting his arsenal in a positive way, right? So those are two things that got me thinking about stuff that's not normally talked about. Number one, hitters back in the day faced the same guys in a recycled, jumbled version and didn't have to face new challenges as nearly as often as the hitters do now. Not to mention the stuff that we've already talked about that seems obvious. Second thing is that this changeup doesn't have great movement, but it's still a super valuable part of his arsenal. And when everybody's looking for fastballs, this is another way to slow them down. And now the fastball plays better. So all of this those are two interesting things that I wanted to chew on for a minute in my mind on the back way off. All right, he's here. So let me go and bring him up on the show here. So I'm going to throw you guys onto the loading screen here for a second, and then I'll be back with our guests for today. So bear with me here for a moment.
Doing good. How are you guys? Or how are you? No, I think when I gave up the hit, I was just thinking trying to, get ahead with something other than the heater, and he got to it, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I was wondering that because for the most part, I know you have to diversify your first pitches. Like you're throwing so many fastballs that it's like you don't want to get ambushed. But at
Yeah,
the same time, when you give up a hit on it, like I've done that before, you're like, oh man, maybe I did him a favor there. So I was wondering what the thought process after the game. Is there any regret there, or is it mostly just like, all right, it happens as part of the game?
yeah. I mean, I think it's just how it works. It's part of it. But no, the thought process behind it was, Schwarber's a great fastball hitter, and the at bat before I threw him nothing but heaters, so it was a good chance he was going to be sitting on heater, and he reacted to the off speed, so so be it.
Yeah, so be it. So be it. All right. So I usually talk a lot of pitching, technical pitching type of questions on here. And, it's funny when I watch you pitch, obviously it's spectacular with the velocity, and that gets a lot of the attention. But I know that there's been a journey, probably a multiple year journey of figuring out how to harness everything. And a lot of that is simplicity of thought, right? Like, do you have a pre-pitch routine that you've come across, like something that you tell yourself mentally that kind of gets you in the flow so that you can go out there and be convicted on each pitch?
No, honestly, it's just taking a breath. I think that's the biggest thing. Contreras tells me what signs come in, and in the pitch come, and you kind of just got to trust it, and be full faith behind it, and let it eat.
So, what about your eyes? I saw an article where you were talking about setting your sights. I've often talked about how early in my career, I felt like I was like kind of looking at the target, but it was more so like I knew kind of where in, up, down is. And I wasn't really there all the way through the pitch until I started focusing on where I want to start my pitch and things like that. Have you ever experienced anything like that? Do you do something with your eyes that you think helps you get in the zone? Because the walk rate's been so great this year that I'm just curious if there's been any evolution with that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely like what you're saying. Like I kind of like looking where I need to start a pitch, especially with like off speed and things like that. But no, it kind of goes. I kind of aim middle. It's funny to say that. Being a big leaguer facing big league hitters, I'm just aiming middle, and letting it play off that. And if I'm throwing a slider cutter or something like that, and I want to go arm side with it, and with the righty in the box, I'm aiming at their hip. It's just a part of it. Like I got to trust that my ball's going to come back.
So you kind of understand the shape. You get a feel for the shape in the bullpen while you're being calibrated. Then from there, you feel like you have your distinct lanes. Like, okay, if I'm going to throw my breaking ball, I start a little higher. If I'm going to start my fastball, I start more middle.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then, play off that to where like, there's going to be a little bit of drop off the heater. And so you rise that up a little bit, be it 2 balls above zone. So it's on that top line, but, pretty basic after that.
what about like good misses? Like when you're in a leverage count and you want to get the strikeout and you want to go for a chase. Are you cognizant of like a good miss, like like an area that you're okay missing, or just in general you're attacking the one spot and if you miss over the plate you're okay with it?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying I'm okay with it. I'm still pissed off at myself, but no, I'm really like trying to get that. Like if I'm going chase, like I'm trying to hit like a really far off the plate. Like I'm not thinking it's going to be a strike at all. So if I'm going slider, saying I'm throwing glove side away, I'm thinking like, hey, I want this to be on the chalk line versus the black. So, stuff like that. Like when I do miss and it's not as big as I'm hoping, it's like, a ball outside versus 2. So it's stuff like that.
Got you. And what are your pitcher meetings like pregame? Is it mostly just we're just going to pitch to our strengths? We're going to ignore the batters. Are you aware of a lot of stuff? Do you shake a lot? There's a lot of questions I have because I know you want to probably keep it as simple as possible out there. But when I watch you and Contreras work, it's clear that you guys have a pretty good rapport there.
Yeah, no, we've gotten a lot better at it, and it's awesome to have a guy like back there like Contreras, and I trust him a lot. There's not much shaking. Obviously, you see me up there shaking my head a lot. It's Contreras trying to get a guy off of a scent or something like that. So no, it's not crazy at all. But the pregame meetings and stuff, it's simple. It's looking at guys' strengths, what their heat maps look like, and that's about as in depth we go.
Got you. All right. So keep it simple. I think that's always the best approach, especially early until somebody proves that they can get at you a little bit. So those were the first questions I had. Second question I have is about like your catch play, right? I saw a video of you the other day doing athletic catch play where you're kind of moving your feet, moving around, also throwing the football. How long has that become part of your routine? And do you think that helps you kind of stay athletic on the mound? Is that the idea behind that?
Yeah. Yeah, when you're in your delivery, like it's pretty set in stone what my delivery is. But as soon as I get off the mound, like I got to be ready to, make an athletic play. Like if I have to, give a quick flip, if it's a bunt down third base line and I have to flip it across the field, like there's, you never know what's going to come at you. But no, that's been in my warm up for a while now.
Yeah, I think it's super useful because as pitchers, sometimes we do get a little bit robotic. Like we kind of like, it's so funny. Like people talk about repeating your delivery, which is important, but at the same time, you want to have freedom within that so that you feel like you're not like tied down into this like tiny little box. And
Exactly.
I don't know, were you a two-way player coming up or mostly just pitching?
No, I was just pitching, at least pro ball wise, but no, I played, outfield. I caught a little bit in high school. So,
Ooh, catching is interesting because a lot of times the arm path that you develop from catching when you're younger kind of helps you be a little more efficient in your delivery. And I'm assuming that's been the number one thing that you've worked on over time is like, because you're so big, and I'm big, I can relate to that. And you're just trying to find a way to control it. So it's like whatever can be as simple as possible. It makes a lot of sense.
yep.
Yeah. All right. Let me get to some questions here from my Discord chat for you. If there's any change from last year to this season, what do you think would be the biggest one?
Probably the walk rate going down. I think that's the biggest change. And that was more just like in the off season, really focusing on, not being like lazy on the backside and really staying in the ground with it. And then that kind of went into the, the lead leg and the plant leg and kind of fell into that as well.
So I've noticed you got big legs. You obviously train your legs a lot in the weight room. Is a lot of that because you feel better when you have stability in the ground? Like, do you train that lead leg landing spot as a priority?
Yeah, so that's also why I do the water bags and stuff like that. Like I want to feel like the, uncontrolledness with the water and really feeling like I can force and like stick into the ground on that lead leg.
I tried to use the water bags for a little bit. I think I had a hard time because I threw so cross body that like I was like kind of cutting myself off, and I felt like it was exposing me for my timing being wrong. But then I was like, man, like it's too late. It's too late for me. I'm already 36 or whatever. If I try to re-straighten out at the time, if I try to re-straighten out, I lose all my deception. I'd be afraid I'm going to lose all my effectiveness. But that's one thing about the water. It definitely teaches, like, if you don't hear the swishing in the right pattern, you're off,
Yep.
right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's a super interesting. All right, here's another one. What pitchers on the Milwaukee staff have you learned from, and are there any other pitchers in the game that you'd like to be a sponge and learn from at the All-Star game, or did you already do that last year?
On our staff, Big Woo's always a big help. He's always there in the bullpens and watching and giving feedback when he needs to. And honestly, Kyle Harrison's been a huge help for me. Like just he's not. We're two totally separate guys, and he's more like off speed focused. So it's been nice to pick his brain and kind of play off of that because that's not my game. It's not what I'm used to. So it helps a lot to get a outside look.
Yeah,
And then
especially like Big Woo because he's been through so much. Like, so he's got like a lot of really good perspective for you, I'm sure. Um, do they watch your bullpens and stuff like that? Do you have that type of culture over there?
oh yeah, we watch every starter goes out to their bullpens, and we make time for it. So I think it's important. Big Woo made a big push for it, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and what about, you mentioned Harrison? He's been amazing this year, moving over on the rubber, the fastball, and the slider, the slurve, or whatever he has going on there with those two pitches. Have you talked to him at all? Have you learned anything about his journey? Because he's been kind of kicking around for a bunch of different teams now. Like, do you feel like maybe he's gotten to a place finally where he feels comfortable and can just kind of go? Because that's what it seems like from the outside.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like I think he's comfortable in his own skin now and kind of understands the role that he needs to fill in a way. And no, he's doing excellent. And it's an awesome teammate to be in the dugout and clubhouse with. So it's an awesome opportunity.
All right, what about Murph? Murph's got this great personality. One of the managers that everybody wants to know about around the league. You were able to shoo him off the mound in Colorado a couple weeks ago, which was pretty awesome. I never was good enough to do anything like that. But just curious what he brings and what your relationship is like, and what part of the journey he's been with you so far.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, like like you were saying, like everyone wants to get to know him and be a part of his teams because somehow they figure out a way to win. And Murph's big into that and trying to win the day. And he kind of brings that college mentality of let's win now. And so No, he's awesome. He's a character. There's always something he has to say about the guys. There's a nickname that he's given around, and it's fun.
This comment's funny. He's a baseball in human form. What about Chris Hook? I mean, this is another guy who gets a lot of publicity lately because there's been so many guys who have come through Milwaukee, the last handful of years and have really accelerated their game. From Quinn last year, Priester, Harrison this year. You're coming up. You continue to get better and better. A whole bunch of bullpen guys. What kind of impact has Chris Hook had on you so far?
Yeah, Hookie's amazing. I mean, he always he's a wealth of knowledge. There's always something you can pick his brain about. But no, he again, I think he's also in that mindset of simple's better. He never wants to overwhelm you with stuff. And if Hookie has something to say and like you disagree with it, like he's easy to talk to and have a conversation with him of like, hey, I don't think we need to do this, and we figure something else out. But he's he's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've been curious about him for a while because it is wild how many guys seem to make, really just like some subtle adjustments and then things start to, improve from there. So anyway, so far this year, the NL Central has been really, really strong. Is this something that you guys maybe could feel a little bit last year towards the end of the season as some of these teams started to play well? Because it's been interesting that every team has played well out of the gate this year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, the Central has been amazing. There's the Cubs at the end of the year, obviously were in the playoffs with us, and that was an incredible series. The Cardinals are also, rolling right now with JJ Weatherholt and all those guys over there.
Did you grow up a Cardinals fan or a Royals?
I was more Royals. I'm 30 minutes, 45 minutes outside of KC. So, but no, I spent my time over there watching Yachty and Wainwright. So I spent my time watching some Cardinal games in my days.
Yeah. Who were your other pitchers that you looked at growing up? Like, were there any Royals guys? Like Yordano Ventura, I'm wondering.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he was incredible. I also had Greinke, watch Greinke his rookie year, win the rookie of the year and stuff like that. So Greg Holland, guys like that. So it was really cool to be a part of that era of Royals history.
I played with Greg. He was nasty. He threw like an invisible slider that would just everybody would chase in the dirt. It was wild.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he did.
Question about last year's postseason versus the Dodgers. Obviously, you guys didn't win that series, but they used you in some interesting ways. I thought it was very effective. What was the conversations like headed into that series? And did you feel your heart rate or any emotional change being in a postseason game?
Yeah, of course. Best example is going into that first game against the Cubs. My heart was pounding, and going into that Dodgers series, they were kind of using me as a starter again, which is really cool. Going kind of like Ashby opening for that one game, and then letting me go. So it was really it was cool.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to go. I mean, how about Ashby with the 10 wins already?
Crazy awesome for the guy, a little vulture action, but no, he's good. He's doing amazing.
He has a win in almost like a third of his games, which is wild.
Yeah. What, he's been in 33 I think today, or 32 or something, like with that game last night. So yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think my career high was like 7 wins, maybe 6. And man, he's on a run. I wonder what he can get to. I wonder what the all-time record would be. Like
I have no
15 or something like that.
I bet you it's more than that. I bet you guys get up in the 30s.
Yeah, probably. No way. Maybe back in the day. I don't know. It's hard to say. Really hard to say. Relievers, because it's all luck of the draw. Like you have to come in like a tie game, or down 1, and then your team has to rally. So very situationally dependent. All right. There's a lot of questions about your routine, like your throwing routine. Is it one of those things where it's super dialed in every week between starts, or is there a little bit of feel there based on how you're feeling and a bunch of different variables? Do you lift on the same day? A lot of questions about this. Starting pitchers wanting to know how you go about working on your body in the 4 days between your starts.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends if 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is I get. But no, it's pretty cut and dry. I'm gonna work out, day 2, day 3, both are lower body, upper body days. So, I might switch those around depending on the bullpen schedule. But no, the my warm up and throwing in between is really light. I don't like going more than probably 60, 70 feet, because I feel like that's about as far of a throw I'm going to get. So you kind of just stick around that.
That's fascinating to hear because there's been two schools of thought on that my whole career. Like I played with Adam Wainwright and guys like that who threw 60, 70, 80 feet tops. And then I played with guys who threw 300 feet every day. It feels like it's a little bit different for everybody, but for the hardest starting pitching thrower ever to only be throwing 60, 70 feet, it is interesting that's your strategy. And I kind of get it. I mean, that's the distance you're going to throw from. You want to get dialed in from there. And you probably don't want to overdo it, which made me think a little bit about like off-season bullpens. There's a culture these days of everybody trying to measure everything all the time. When you throw your off-season pens and you're starting to build up into the season, do you care about your velocity? Is that something you even look at for a while? You're just out there trying to make pitches?
I think I look at it maybe once or twice when I start getting going, so I don't ramp up too quickly. More to say.
So it's more of like a gauge, like a restrictor.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, at most I'll have like a radar gun. I think that's about as far in depth I need to look. If my velo sticks around 90, and by the end getting closer to spring training, I'm up to 95, 98, somewhere in there, then I think I'm in a good spot. But so no, with like TrackMan, all that stuff, I don't need it.
I think that's great. I think it's good to hear you say that because everybody's going to look at you and they're going to try to say, how can I do that? And they're going to chase that, and that's fine. But my point is, maybe you don't need to do that in November or December.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe walk before you run. I mean, I used to get intimidated, honestly, at the end of my career when I would get to spring training and the guy next to me would be throwing 98 in his bullpen, and I'm throwing 89. But I'm like, yeah, because like I got to get ready for the whole 162 games. Like, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
But it seems like there's a big push for a lot of people to do that. It's good to hear you say that. It's interesting to hear you say that for sure. All right, a couple more quick ones, and then I'll get you out of here. Favorite stadium and road city to pitch in and go to so far?
Ooh, really like Atlanta. Atlanta's really cool. We're going there next week. The stadium's awesome. Obviously got to go there for the All-Star game and, experience it that way. But the stadium, the bullpen's really nice. So I think I go with Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's pretty good. They have a great clubhouse. That's one of the best ones. And the home plate feels close there.
It does. That wall back there makes it feel even closer.
I know. Isn't that the best feeling when you're on the mound and it feels like you can reach out and hand it to the catcher?
Like the Wrigley's also that way too, with that brick wall back there.
Yeah,
but you get some weird bounces off that brick. So
yeah, that's the goal is to hear the catcher's mitt popping, not the brick breaking back there.
Exactly.
Do you like pitching in the warm weather like in Atlanta because it can get pretty hot?
Yeah, I mean, from KC, that's what the summers were like. And we got up to 105, and it's humid as all could be. But no, I don't mind it at all. I'm good with both. Early April ball in Missouri it's not warm, so used to it.
All right, yeah, see, I think that's a huge advantage. I'm from New York, like Northeast. I feel great in the cold. I can pitch in the hot, but the really hot Midwestern days, they used to drain me bad. And then I'd like be afraid to go out to the bullpen too early. But I think if you grow up in it, I think that's a baseball advantage. Maybe not so much in the winter, but then like you have a dome. So I'm thinking like, what would be better? Probably better to feel good in the heat, I would guess.
Yeah,
if I had to choose. All right, two more. Number one, what's an ideal off day look like for you?
Oh, nice breakfast with the fiance. Playing with the dog a little bit. Not doing much. Maybe going to a card shop for a quick grab some packs and see what we can get, and a nice dinner that. My fiance makes a mean gnocchi, so maybe she makes a little gnocchi in there.
Ooh, a gnocchi. I like that. That's fantastic. You get some good cheese from Wisconsin to mix into that.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, definitely.
Do you cook? Do you cook at all?
I cook about chicken steak. That's about as in-depth cooking wise as I get. You know, she handles most of it. She's really good, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That sounds good. You mentioned you go to the card shops. I know that you're into collecting Pokemon and other stuff like that. Do you collect sports as well, baseball?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's really cool to send a card across the diamond to the other clubhouse and get guys to sign. So it's really neat.
Do you have any of your like one of ones or anything like that?
I don't have a ton of them. The coolest one I have is my printing plates for my first Bowman. So that's really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was able to scrounge a few of mine off eBay over the years because I was like, I should probably have these. But you got to get them before they're too expensive, you know.
Exactly.
So it can
Or
be
you gotta
tricky.
wait till you're done, and then the price dies. And
You know what's funny is I never did Pokemon or played Magic, but I used to play Star Wars cards back in the day. And somebody was telling me that they're pretty valuable, so I've been trying to find them. I've been like calling my mom up, like, you got to get in the basement, you got to find these cards, because I know I have some like vintage like big time Star Wars cards. So now I'm curious to figure that out.
there you go.
All right, all right, we'll do one more. What would be your favorite pregame meal before a start?
Ooh, okay, so I suck. I am awful at eating before a game. I can't really eat. I get, nervous in a way and, can't really keep stuff down when I finally get on the mound out there.
Oh, okay.
So for me, like the day of, like I'm eating a breakfast. I'm eating a pretty heavy breakfast, some eggs, some sausage, some hash browns, some stuff like that. So nothing too crazy, but pretty normal breakfast.
Do,
So
do,
that's
you,
my go-to.
do you snack during the game?
I'm trying to get better, but it's not great.
Yeah, I used to do bananas, like something that you can just throw down real quick. A little bit of nutritional value there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. You know what's funny is I was sort of the opposite. Like I was nervous too, but I was always overwhelmingly nervous that I was going to be tired when I was in the game. So I always felt like I needed more food to like make sure I had energy. But I get that the nervous energy is real. Maybe that's how you can throw so hard right away as the game
Yeah,
starts.
might be.
Which, like, a lot of people casually build into it. You don't tend to do that, so it's pretty amazing. All right, well, listen, man, it's been awesome to watch you pitch this year. I wish you nothing but the best the rest of the way, and the Brewers. Thank you so much for carving a little bit of time out for us. We appreciate it. And yeah, man, best of luck. Really nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you as well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Appreciate it. All right, that's it. That is it for Mr. Misiorowski. We will say goodbye to him right now. Hang up the call.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
And that is it. Hold on one sec. Let me take the browser off here. And that's it. He is gone. All right, that was it. Didn't really get to ask him everything I wanted, but I lost my train of thought quite a bit. Couldn't get him to couldn't quite get into it as well as I wanted to, but I thought it was really interesting, especially, guys, the part about how hard he throws in the offseason. You know, I think a lot of people have the misconception that to throw 100 in the game all the time, then you got to throw 100, you got to be like sitting at that level all the time. And that has to be something that you're constantly working at always. But I thought it was very cool that he says he uses it more as like a governor than anything else, his radar gun issue. Sorry about the muting at the beginning. I remembered to unmute him and then I muted myself because I was talking to him off camera for a second. So then, of course, the intro isn't going to be right as usual. But yeah, it was okay. Anyway, like and subscribe. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys appreciate it. We'll have more guests on here soon. I saw your Chalamet question. I just, I don't know. Does he know Timothy Chalamet? I didn't know what to ask him about that. I should have asked him about his closer song. That would have been good. But I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, hit that like. Hit that like. Sorry about Brett almost breaking her toe running into the room. So, yep, sorry about that audio at the beginning. And we'll continue to get better on this show. But that was really cool. Really cool of him to come on. And Very excited that we were able to get him on right now. Are you going to go to parade tomorrow? No, I'm going to the East-West game down in Alabama. So there will be no show in the morning tomorrow. I'll probably try to do a night show or something tomorrow. But no parade for me tomorrow, which is a little bit of a bummer for sure. Wait, AO used to eat Skittles in game. Yeah, at one point I did. At one point I did. Little sugar rush. You know, back in the day I didn't even drink coffee. So there was a whole stretch of my career where I was like really dragging during day games, and I would try to attack it sometimes with candy. Is that a good idea? Probably not. Did it work for a little while? Yeah, it worked for a little while. So anyway, thanks, Jesus of the Apes. Appreciate that. And I wasn't even talking about you before. I saw you in the comments. There was somebody else that we had to boot. But and sorry I asked him about a negative, but I thought he would laugh about it a little bit. But I couldn't get him to laugh. I couldn't get him going quite the right way. Only a few giggles. But no big deal. I wasn't trying to mess with him too much. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting comment. He was talking about the biggest things for him are to take a deep breath, to lock in on his targets and understand his lanes, and that he doesn't try to overdo it with throwing distance, and he doesn't try to overdo it with throwing power until he's actually in the game. He lets all those things happen naturally. He was a catcher at one point when he was very young, so there's an element of a more efficient arm stroke in there. So all of that to me gave me some good insight. Obviously, he was focused on the walk rate. They're keeping the plan simple. It's all the things that you would have expected to hear, except, you know, the routine is always a little bit of a mystery. The water bag is part of his thing because dealing with the instability of the water bag as you turn the water bag, if you guys haven't seen them, One Away Performance, Tidal Tank, there's a lot of different people that sell and talk about water bag training. Skeens is on the train with that. So I thought a lot of that was good. Obviously, we don't know each other very well, and I wasn't asking him nothing but fun questions, asking more technical questions. But either way, we had a good time. So do hitters still chew tobacco? So they got rid of that a while back, but there's still some people doing tobacco and dips, of course. Did I get upset as a relief guy when the Miz said Aaron Ashby was a vulture action with the 10 Ws? No, I didn't. I never got upset about the vulture because it's true. I mean, we come in and we get a couple outs and we get credited with the win. Meanwhile, these guys are, pitching the whole game and they aren't getting it. All right, so if you guys don't know what the water bags are, let's see if I can show you a quick video of what it might look like. Somebody doing a water bag, aqua bag training for a pitcher. Facebook. We're on Facebook now. Oh, goodness. All right, so here he is. He's got the tank strapped to his back, as you can see here. Let me expand that to full screen. Got the tank strapped to his back, and all he's trying to do is go into his rotation and feel his sequencing perfectly so he can swish the water from one side of the bag to the other. That's what we were talking about in the interview there a little bit. And for him, that's important because he introduces some instability into the system, and then his core has to activate to work through that. And then he feels like that allows him to be in the right pattern and the right level of priming for his body to then go out there and throw the baseball. So you see Skeens doing it, see Misiorowski doing it. This is a very modern approach that you see a lot of guys doing. So anyway, that's kind of what it does. Is number one, there's an audio feedback on it. So it's like you hear the water swishing. It goes swish, swish as you move it forward. And like I was talking about him with me, but because I threw crossbody, I would go to swish. There would always be like a delayed reaction. Like I wasn't transferring the energy cleanly. The water represents the energy transfer in the rotation. So he's striding straight down the mound, opening his hips, opening his torso, then shooting the shoulders through. And he hears that stream right there in the right moment. And that tells him he's locked in with his sequencing, and then he can go ahead and start throwing. He also does his athletic catch. He talked about his athletic catch a little bit. Just something in case, he has to go field to play, but I also think it keeps you a little bit out of that robot syndrome. That's what I was trying to get at with him a little bit there. So I thought all of that was pretty cool. Definitely gave us some insight. He's been the nastiest pitcher in baseball this year. And that's kind of his routine, the keep it simple routine, which makes a lot of sense. When you're so good, you can definitely keep it simple. All right, what else we got here? One-away performance. They are so hard to set up, yeah. Classic half dip, half bubblegum action. Yep, you see a lot of that, wrapping the chaw in the bubblegum still. That stuff's all really there still, even though you don't want to... A big part of it is not giving it to kids, Try to get as many questions in as I could. I don't know. I give it a C. It was just a C on my end. I could have done better than that. All right, let's check in on our games right now, and then whatever else you got in the chat. Current scoreboard at the moment. Wow, Mets are winning 9-1 in the 8th over the Reds. So they needed that. Royals 6-0 over the Nats in the 6th. Marlins 6, Phillies 4 in the 5th. And Giants 5, Braves 2 in the 5th as well. Tigers and Astros 0-0 in the 3rd. Padres 1, Cardinals 0, bottom 2. And then a bunch of games that are going to be starting later. So we got a lot of getaway day action for a Wednesday. That's when you see the day games on Wednesdays. One of these teams got to get out of town. So what can a pitcher like the Miz do to protect himself from injury? It's a good question. And I often talk about this a lot because this is like, a big separator in the sport, how healthy you can stay. Unfortunately, this is often very individual. There's certain things that cross over. Understanding a high-low work model is super important. And what I mean by that is when you're resting, you're resting. You're not adding any more stress to your system when you're resting, but you're doing active rest so you can help facilitate recovery. But when you're throwing, train your arm. Don't half-ass it either. Like, have some element of high workload, which most of the time is the game in the season. But in the off season, it's about constantly toggling between high, low, right? So that's one thing. Then understanding within your own body, what fails. Is it my knee? Is it my back? Is it my shoulder? Is it my elbow? And then from there, you can individually diagnose and figure out how to fix it, whether it's something that needs to be overhauled in your delivery or whether it's a different way to armor your body. Like I used to use a lot of isometrics, particularly late in my career, that helped with tendon health and tendon quality. So I'm big on building attributes like that through isometrics. There's also an element of plyometrics. But the bottom line is you have to prepare the body to be able to receive, to take on and receive and absorb the force that you're asking it to produce, right? So obviously a guy like Misiorowski's producing a ton of force and he's transferring it incredibly effectively up the chain. So he has some work to do long-term if he wants to stay healthy when he's throwing this hard. And I think he can do it. He's a very freaky, bendy, athletic guy. He's got a big base on him. There's no real reason why he can't. He just has to train the body to be able to accept it. So it's going to take a little while. Now, he does do a little bit of a hyper extending with the left leg a little bit at times when he slams that front leg in the ground. But again, you can train it to be okay. Verlander's done it for 20 plus years. So that's another thing. If you train them well enough, you can turn tendons into 11dons. That's funny. That's a funny comment. Are you a heat guy or an ice guy? So I was almost never an ice guy. I think icing, the science shows that it's slowing the healing process down. Now, I get if you have an acute injury or something and you need to get swelling out of the area, that can help you a little bit. But no, I think you want blood flow. So usually warm brings more blood flow, and that's the important distinction there. To me, it's like you want movement of the blood and the nutrients throughout the body. You don't want to stagnate that, and a lot of times that's what happens with ice. So big on that. All right, what else we got here? I hear Archer talking to me. Archer, you talking to me, buddy? Come say hi, Arch. I fear that. The plant leg is the injury fear I have with Miz. He's a freak and durable. That plant leg on visitors mount scares me. He did talk about his lower leg stuff and that lead leg block stuff. He even mentioned it in the interview, and I think that means he's on it. So they're gonna do isometrics with that knee, make sure that patella tendon stays healthy, stays strong, so it can handle that amount of force. His quads are going to be incredibly important. That VMO in there. So yeah, I mean, it's important that he's got the tree trunk legs. When we watch Miz pitch, you know, he's a freak in a lot of ways. But you know, to me, like one of the biggest things is that lower body, and I know he's trained that. I guarantee he didn't grow up with that. I was watching some pitches from him in the minor leagues recently, and I noticed that the legs have gotten bigger and bigger as time goes on. So that's that move right there we're talking about. Huge hyperextension. But again, if you get really strong in the quad, right there, and then you train that tendon properly with isos, you can take on force like that. So it's an efficiency thing. He's stopping himself. That shoots the power up the chain and eventually out the hand. But yeah, you look at that and you say, man, that can't feel good on a knee joint. But I do think that you can train it to produce more protection there. I know you hear Archer, Brett. Ridiculous. Do players use Michael Jackson type hyperbaric chambers? Yes, some players have them. I've heard of people building them into their bedroom where they can pressurize their entire bedroom while they sleep. I know in Colorado, a couple guys had hyperbarics that they would go take naps in. Tulowitzki, etc., some others. A lot of guys are big on the hyperbaric, just getting more oxygen into the blood there. Do you think hold on? Yeah, Trout's a big hyperbaric chamber guy. I think he also uses that Immortal system. Do you think Miz windup and delivery could be taught to other pitchers, or is it one-off? I think it can be taught, but his body is freaky, so they won't. No matter what you do, you're probably not going to be him. But I think he's got a simple delivery. All he really does is lift the leg. He's got a very long stride due to his levers, and then it's a really efficient lead leg block. Granted, I wouldn't have done it that aggressively, but it works for him. Ayo, can you review Baldwin's 473 home run? I didn't know Drake Baldwin was back. Drake Baldwin's back? That's good to know. So he played yesterday, huh? Hold on. This is today's game. We want yesterday's game. That's so weird. All right, well, whatever. They were playing the Giants, so we know that. All right, Giants, Braves. Here is Drake Baldwin. Home run to lead off the game off Adrian Hauser. So welcome back, Drake Baldwin. Here we go. Four-seam up away, ball one. This guy, you know, we've been talking a lot about the catchers who've been killing it. Dingler, Langoliers, Will Smith, Hunter Goodman. I mean, there's a whole list. But this guy was killing it the most of anyone before he got hurt. So this is a big, big deal that he came back, and he's immediately in a 3-0 count here. I don't know, it looks like a very soggy night in Atlanta. Sees the 3-0 sinker taken all the way, and then he's going to blast the 3-1 sinker. Dead center. Did that get on top of that? Oh, it went over even further than I thought. It almost made it to the back. It went to that bush there. It almost made it to the back of the batter's eye. This is an absolute bomb. I think only like Acuna and maybe one other guy I've ever seen get close to this spot. It's a dead center. Maybe Pete. Wow. That was ridiculous. Exit velo guess. I'm going to say 113. Yeah, 113, 112.8. Man, Baldwin is one of my favorite hitters in the game. Dude. What a monster. This ball is absolutely creamed. First game back in the rain. And he's not a big guy. He's special. I'm starting to realize just how special. I mean, the swing itself, he compacts here. He goes from tall, like real tall in his setup to compacted. Stays back really well, though. Man, what a freaking swing. Damn. I don't know. I'm a little flabbergasted by his level of swing. Also from the front angle, he's got a little bit of that scissor. Not really, not as much of a kickback as I thought. But I felt like he's done so good at driving the ball to center, left center at times this year that it just feels like his energy is always over the plate and he stays through the ball better than a lot of lefties. Anyway, that was nasty. That was ridiculous. Holy cow. So welcome back, Drake Baldwin. And he is off to a ridiculous start. I guess he didn't miss that much time. He missed, what, 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks? He did pretty good to get back off of, what, was it, an oblique maybe? Off to a hell of a start, though. 390 on base, 559 slug, 948 OPS. Good at absolutely everything. Maybe swings a little bit too much. Catching's been good, except for the steals. But it looks like the pop time's above average. That might not be on him. And then that's coming off of his season last year. 810 OPS as a rookie, 19 home runs. This guy's really good. I don't know. I mean, it seems like the Braves have always had a good everyday catcher, Brock Bird. You know, you think about going back years now. I mean, Murphy before that. You know, Contreras was there before that. You know, it seems like they've always had somebody. So he's kind of nuts. Braves will get pitching at the deadline. That's the biggest thing they're going to need. This Hyesung Kim ordeal is starting to scare me. Okay. There's one. Do you think the Braves traded for Skubal, they would be the biggest threat to the Dodgers? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, that would help. Sale, Skubal, and eventually maybe Schwellenbach would be big. You know? Yeah, McCann would be big. McCann would be huge. He was big back in the day. Him, Javi Lopez. There's been so many. So many good guys. And they had Langoliers before the trade for Olsen. But they've never had a problem with catchers, and Drake Baldwin continues to demonstrate that. Look at that nice spray chart, too. He's done it all over the field. Yeah, he's got some pull side pop, but he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 home runs basically to center. He'd be a tough guy to face. Not down on Murph, even with the injuries, but this kid's bat is unreal. Yeah. Would Miami trade Sandy? I'm pretty sure yes. Don't know for what or to whom yet, but I think he'll be on the market. I have a feeling. I mean, the Marlins always have to be thinking like that. TDA and Acuna are the only two to hit a home run that far to center field in the StatCast era. Damn. Sox would need it. Oh, so this is about the Braves getting Sonny from the Sox. What do you think? Sonny's having a good year. Here's Sonny right now, sitting at 12 starts with a 303, 8-1, 62 and a third, 1.20 whip. I'm sure the projections on him aren't as high, but he's been doing a really good job. I guess the big question is he a playoff starter for you? You know, if you're willing to pay the price on that or not. Or you know, maybe the price isn't as high because they want to get off of him. But I don't know. Good question. I think Sonny could maybe be on the block. A lot of Red Sox are going to be potentially on the block. No doubt about that. No question about that. All right. Time to go. Let's do probables. We'll hit the scoreboard right now, the live scoreboard. I'll tell you the probables for the rest of the day, and then I'll see you guys later. Thanks for everybody being in the chat today. Kind of a wonky day, but we did have the great Miz on, so And you missed my intro. I said it was such a nice. I did it so nice when he came in, but of course I didn't unmute myself. I just can't get over it. All right, 9-1 Mets in the ninth. They're going to win that one. Marlins 10-4 over the Phillies in the sixth. They've opened that one up. Stowers has 2 homers. Giants 5, Braves 2. Home run from Drake Baldwin. That was today, I guess. Is that today or is that yesterday? Oh, that's today. Holy shit. Okay. Tigers 0, Astros 1 in the fourth. Padres 1, Cardinals 0 in the third. And then here are our probables for the rest of the day. So it was McLean and Lodolo today. Avila, Littell, Alcantara, Painter, Hauser, Holmes. We know about that. Mize, Lambert, Rodriguez, Leahy. That's a bullpen day for the Padres. All right, here's the ones that haven't started yet. This one kicks off in 10 minutes. This is a great matchup. Shane McClanahan of the Rays and Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers. This was a 1-0 game yesterday. So, it was a suspended game. That's what happened. That's why I was so confused. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, so Shohei on the mound. If he wants to be in this Cy Young race with Miz and the others, he got to keep going with that low ERA. Aldegari and Erod, Angels and Diamondbacks. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Scherzer, Bennett. Scherzer second start back off the IL. Let's see. White Sox, Yankees, Anthony K, Carlos Rodon. Giants, Braves in the second game tonight. Wisenhunt and J.R. Ritchie. See, the Braves are working with a lot of young pitchers. They definitely are. I do think they need to upgrade the starters. Gavin Williams and Brandon Sproat, Guardians Brewers from the land of the cheese. Rockies Cubs, Sean Sullivan, Javier Assad. Rockies Cubs. Pirates A's, Braxton Ashcraft, Aaron Savale. Axcraft, still cooking. And then our final game tonight, late start tonight, 9:40 Eastern. Kyle Bradish, George Kirby. So I actually just watched Bradish pitch against the Mariners. Bradish has a big walk problem. That's his biggest issue. And we'll see if he can straighten that out. Yeah, he's been really just, he's been tough with his walks this year. So anyway, good games today. A lot of good games going on. World Cup. We got just everything going on today. College World Series, a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for everybody being in the chat on all the different platforms today. Thanks to Jacob Misiorowski for joining us today. Definitely appreciated that. Got some insight out of him. And thanks to all of you. I don't know what the timing is going to be for the next show tomorrow. Can't be in the morning because I'm traveling, but we'll see. So just stay tuned and I'll definitely announce all that. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys are good. Appreciate you guys hanging with me today. And hopefully we'll have another great guest here soon. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. Adios.